How does President Biden go from looking like this
England
to immediately looking like this?
in
Because honestly, this image looks like he's photoshopped, but this image right after equally looks photoshopped. Or at the very least, an animatronic Muppet from a low-budget Ninja Turtles movie. So what do you think they have Biden on? Because it always looks like whenever he does something weird on camera, they pump him up full of something to pull him out of hiding until he looks like Mr. Hyde. But the more he speaks, the worse it gets, and there's probably nobody cheering on Biden more than President Trump himself, as the general public is finally seeing him for the toddler that he is. Because his staff now refers to him as a big boy.
Big boy press conference, a big boy press conference, hold a press conference, a big boy press conference.
Guess a big boy press conference? It's the big boy press conference, I think.
As he basically can't remember anybody.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway.
Which even his billion-dollar beneficiary got a kick out of. So they delayed his big boy speech not once, but twice, where he immediately made a worse but similar mistake.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
To which Trump immediately took to social media to point out how scary it is that the president can't tell the difference between his vice president and campaign rival, but no more terrifying than an actual VP Trump-Harris. Or the idea that he doesn't even realize that he's the commander-in-chief.
I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief,
And when I say the more he talks, the worse it gets, it's not an exaggeration, because at this point in time, I'm sure the Democrats wish the worst they had to deal with is the president falling asleep on camera. As even when he does a presser with only pre-approved journalists,
I'll take your questions. I've been given a list of people to call on here.
sometimes he goes into that weird whisper.
There's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
And other times, he randomly goes into a rage.
We're sitting around. That's where Kamala's so good as well. We're sitting around. More children are killed by the bullet than any other cause of death. The United States of America. What the hell are we doing?
Which was really sad to see live, as he started the conference reading from a teleprompter sounding somewhat normal, but slowly slipped into a slumber until shouting debunked stats snapped him out of it. And the saddest aspect out of all of it is he was answering the question, "Are you determined to run for president?" and his rambling response suddenly switched into outrage over 2A. But him not knowing how he started the sentence should be expected, as he can't even recall his own remarks said hours ago.
I wanted to ask you about your, you mixed up Presidents Zelensky and Putin earlier today. Officials here are saying off the record that your decline has become noticeable. Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world? Thank you.
Did you see any damage to our standing by leading this conference? Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think? And the Putin piece, I was talking about Putin, and I said, and now, at the very end, I said, here, I mean Putin. I said, oh, no, I'm sorry, it's Zelensky. And then I added 5 other names. Look.
Yeah, that wasn't what happened.
Who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Or how he thinks he's controlling the border.
Working with Mexico, border encounters have gone down over 50%. The current level is lower today than when Trump left office.
Despite the fact that even before he took office, his campaign promises had people lining up, and caravans from several countries away continued for the last few years, who all seemingly walk right into the country under Biden's presidency. So no wonder Biden basically campaigns on behalf of Trump.
This concludes.
Respectfully, earlier you misspoke in your opening answer. You referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference.
And that basically happens every time his handlers can't stop him from speaking off the cuff, as if he can't even read his rehearsed lines correctly. Of course they're terrified of what he'll say off of memory.
And it does. more minorities, more women, more labor. I'm serious. Think about it. That's who we are. That's why we're strong. We're diverse. We're strong. We got to stop looking at it like it's a problem. It's an asset.
And it's hilarious how each media member panicked differently, as it looked like someone was tackling a struggling camera guy, but the sound guy couldn't mute all the mics, so they finally severed the entire feed, which makes it really hard to believe that Biden is a big boy when they won't even let him speak. Because when he does, he's seemingly calling the NATO chief an intellectual... what?
He's a man of integrity, an intellectual rigor, a calm temperament.
And I love how the sign language girl hears wigger and immediately goes into finger guns, because I don't think there's an official sign language symbol for that word, and if she's making it up on the fly, then I mean, give her the biggest bonus for being able to translate Bidenese to English to sign language all in split seconds, because it took the White House hours to figure out that he meant to say intellectual rigor, to which if the Democrats are really serious about having him step down against his will, his speechwriters should have him repeatedly say Biden's rigor, because when he messes that one up on live television, then it's officially over for him. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on when he was literally sleep talking on live television.